Last fall, a water quality study of Lake Winona yielded some unexpected news. The results indicated the water was not as healthy as it could be. The lake had been given an impaired designation, and we asked retired U.S. Fish and Wildlife biologist Eric Nelson just what that designation means.
Impaired water, that's the good question. It's a classification that ecologists give a body of water if there is an issue with too many nutrients or some biological problem or some sort of pollution problem with the water. And in our particular case with Lake Winona, the classification was related to too many nutrients. So we had too much vegetation growing, too much enrichment. And that's how it got the classification. There are others, the streams around here might be classified as being impaired for nutrients or for biological excess, things like that.
Shortly after learning of the lake's status, a group of Winonans met with the goal of improving the water quality in Lake Winona.
This is called Healthy Lake Winona. That's the title we came up with because it's a group of people, all kinds of people, outdoors people, scientists, teachers, writers, all kinds of people who are interested in Lake Winona. Okay, and really that's almost you could say that everyone in the whole city is interested in Lake Winona. It's one of our favorite places. But last fall, the Pollution Control Agency came down and did a watershed summit talking about the state of the waters in our county and in our area. And much to our surprise, we discovered that Lake Winona was listed as an impaired water. Okay, so that was a surprise. We spent the rest of the Watershed Summit kind of generating ideas for what we could do about that. And that's where this whole project started.
Iden said that meeting yielded a number of good ideas to help combat the poor water quality issue.
We've come up with quite a few ideas, and there are some that have now become projects. One thing we're going to do is we're working with the city of Winona on a rain garden project. So the city is going to help support people to build rain gardens. Rain gardens allow the rainwater to be held in places instead of running right off into the storm sewer and into Lake Winona or into the river. So we're going to have a rain garden program, and there's also a stormwater stencil labeling program, and Paul Schulmeyer is very enthusiastic about that. The stormwater drain stenciling will be a voluntary, run by people who would like to see their own stormwater drains taken care of, and it's actually called the Adopt a Storm Drain program. Yeah, and so the city and Healthy Lake Winona are working together on that one too. So the city is being very supportive of this. The city has a vested interest in making sure that the lake, of course, is in good shape.
Several factors play a role in the impaired labeling of our lake, the main factor being an overdose of nutrient-rich runoff that includes lawn clippings, leaves, and fertilizers.
The nutrients that come in from the watershed in general are adding to this enrichment. And so to try to figure out how to reduce that input is a big goal of ours, and so that's why we're looking at the stormwater items, as well as maybe looking at watersheds of the creeks that comes in through Gilmore Creek and so forth. And so that's how it's kind of unhealthy. One of the other things that we get a lot of is ducks and geese. And they bring along their own waste. And that waste is something that enriches the lake. It's a nuisance for people who are using the trails. It's a form of something that it'd be great to have it reduced a little bit. So that's one of the inputs that maybe we can look at.
In Winona, rain runoff ends up in one of two places, the river or the lake. Healthy Lake Winona is encouraging residents to adopt a storm drain to help reduce the flow of organic material into Lake Winona.
go out and adopt their closest storm drain and make sure that the gutters are cleaned so that we have leaves and stuff not and mowings, lawn mowings not going into the gutter, because when that goes into the gutter, then it goes into the storm drain and right into the lake, and that becomes a problem.
Nelson is taking a closer look at the runoff from surrounding farm fields that eventually makes its way into the lake.
I'm looking at the watershed a little bit bigger and seeing what the landowners in the surrounding area could do too, in terms of reducing that kind of runoff going into Gilmore Creek. It eventually gets into Bowler's Lake and around the Horn and down to Lake Winona. And so I think that's a personal responsibility that landowners could have. In town, the rain gardens are certainly a way to go, making sure that the fertilizers are used are very low in phosphorus. Phosphorus is our main issue, but I think those are important things. And then I'd encourage people to really not feed the waterfowl. I think and it's tempting, and it's sometimes pleasurable. I know I've been there. I think as you take responsibility for your lake, you can think about those things.
To learn more about Healthy Lake Winona and to learn how you can help improve the health of the lake, friend them on Facebook at facebook.com/Healthy Lake Winona.